I would like to give some insight on the value of the concept of learning to learn. When we do want to learn something, we focus on the positive side of it. We start questioning what is in it for me. If you feel that there is a gain, you will start self-learning. One's own learning is the best way of learning today. Many of us learning things for many reasons. Some people learn things to show off or to get the attention of others. Some want to learn to justify his or her points to others. This is very common in our society. They need points to argue. They need information to suppress others. They learn things to challenge others. Sometimes teachers also do the same. They challenge students who are learners of them. This way of learning won't help people to learn new things. It won't help themselves as well. If you want to broaden your knowledge, you need to learn things that you don't like to learn. You need to read books, not to support what you know or your ideas in your mind, but to learn new things that will help you to broaden your horizon. So stop learning to show off, but to support others in the society. Some want to learn make money. Some learn to get certificates or certify themselves to grab opportunities in their jobs. Some want to sell data and info in the form of analytics. Some learn new things to overpower people, businesses, nations, and the territories. Some learn new things to bribe people, undercut businesses, and to hack systems and operations. True enough, all these things help you in a way, but this should not be the purpose of learning. Let's see what is the real purpose of learning. So, what is the real purpose of learning? Why we need to learn? These are the questions we need to ask from ourselves and to find answers. If you know what is the process of learning, then it's easy for us to learn things. Learning happens when any act or experience that has impact on the mind, character, or physical ability of yours. Naturally, it helps to acquire knowledge, gain skills, and to build the character of yours. If learning happens properly in your mind, it will change your lifestyle. Today, education is the process of facilitating learning. Primarily, it is coaching and mentoring students to learn. Learning is not only limited to us, but it is for animals, plants, and machines as well. Machine learning and AI are the key drivers of the society today. Learning helps you to understand yourself and the universe and how the universe is really made of. It makes your life easy because you know what others talk, what you talk, and what you do. Doing things knowingly is the best way of learning things. Finally, learning gives us the real happiness and the peaceful life to all of us. At the end, it heals your mind, which will lead to a healthy lifestyle. So start learning with meaning, and it is the most fulfilling way of life for humans and to bringing the real happiness of life. The decision is yours. There's no right or wrong decision in the world today. The right decision is the decision that you have implemented successfully. I would like to touch upon a few scientific approaches to learn faster and better. Learning happens when there is a lasting change in behavior as a result of an experience of a person. When you think of learning, it might be easy to fall into the trap of only considering the formal education. That's wrong. Learning is realistically an ongoing process taking place throughout our life. Once Oliver Wendell said, "A mind that is stretched by new experience can never go back to its old dimensions." You can train your brain and memory to learn faster. If you can learn things faster, you can stand out from the rest because authority flows from who knows. An award-winning scholar, Nisant Kasibatla, said, "Your learning ability decides your earning capacity in your life." So deep learning is very important. No point of learning something at surface level. If you don't implement it or experience it properly, you will forget it soon. First learn, then reflect on it. Implement and experience it. Finally, you can share the same with others. If you want to learn things faster, first thing is to create the right learning environment. Normally, night is not good to learn because you need to have a good sleep. But remember, it should be your preferred style. But most of the students in our country do learn in the night. How should be the lighting? The direction of light should come behind you, over the shoulders. Sometimes music helps. Choose classical music if you prefer. Don't play loudly. Remember, it should not be a song. As you know, music is a therapy. Keep your phone away if you don't use tools or apps for online learning. Learning is single tasking. Attention on one thing is very important. Don't go for multitasking. Quality of input is very important to get the right output at the end of your learning process. Finally, build your own mind palace. If you want to memorize faster, associate or relate your learning with certain places in your room. Use symbols, locations of your learning materials. All these will help you to memorize things and to learn things faster and better. How to enhance your learning capacity? First, study in small chunks, 25 to 30 minutes, and have a 5 minutes break. In general, attention span is 8 seconds, but you have an average concentration time between 45 minutes to 120 minutes. Taking class notes also important. Take notes within minutes after the class. Making notes without looking at the book and check and see whether it is correct will help you to learn things faster. Learn only vital few. Learn variation and outliers, not the normal things, because most of the questions teachers ask are based on variations. Try to learn opposite things, day and night, negatives and positives. If you know the positives, it's easily you can find negatives. So that will help you to learn things better. How to read textbook faster? SQTR method is the best. SQTR reading method is a way to study, understand and remember written information quickly. This was found Francis Robinson, a psychologist, in 1946. When reading textbooks, learn to follow the rules of SQTR reading method. S stands for surveying or browsing, layout, chapters, graphs, pictures and highlighted words in your book. Q stands for checking questions in the chapters and asking yourself what you already know in the chapters and what the author wants to convey. Read actively when keeping previous steps in the back of your mind, and write down some notes if you feel it is something new. Recite means repeating loudly in your own words what you have read and ask yourself questions, and if possible explain it to someone else nearby you. Review means read all relevant parts again and pay extra attention to the parts that are difficult for you to understand. Follow SQ3R method to read books faster and to learn new things. As you know, practice testing is one of the most effective learning techniques. Remember, the brain gets rid of irrelevant info as its capacity is limited. After 1 hour, we forget half of the things that we have learned. 1 day later, we remember only 30% of what we have learned in the class. You need to learn not only the learning curve, but the forgetting curve as well. Typically, students under stress are less effective in recalling information from memory. Taking practice tests has resulted in strong memory capacity even under high level of stress. Generally, students often cram before a test, which should not be the way, and it is less effective in the learning process. Recalling stuff from the brain is called practice testing, which is a well-accepted high-quality technique to memorize things. Retention capacity is very high in practice testing. Study like a teacher. Think about the questions which your teacher may ask from you. Then start answering them and check from the textbooks and correct them. That's my personal achievement in academic life. I had the ability and the sense to guess the questions that I had to face in the exams. It was a great success. How to memorize things quicker? The keyword mnemonic is one of the best method of doing it. Learn to use mnemonics. Very traditional, but still is useful. These are memory devices to memorize things that aid more information retention. There are a large number of devices available online. You can search and study devices that are helpful for your own studies. If you want to remember rainbow colors, we use the acronym WIPU. And how to set the table? Anything with 4 goes on the left, example fork, and anything that goes on the right, spoon and knife. These mnemonics that can be used to memorize things better. How to memorize things quicker? The answer is spaced repetition. 80-20 rule is applied here as well. 20% read and 80% recalling is the best way to improve attention. Read a concept and recall it in your own words. Your mind works better when you go on doing one thing again and again, and finally jump into the next. Why spaced repetition is important? New learning drives out all learning when insufficient time is given for learning. So best way out is to space out learning. If you want to memorize something for a short time, after learning something, first repetition right after learning. Second repetition after 15-20 minutes. Then do something else and relax. Third repetitions after 6 to 8 hours. Final repetitions after 24 hours. You will see that you can remember everything what you have learned in a short period of time. If you want to memorize something for a long time, you need to follow the first two steps in the same manner. It means first repetition just after learning, second repetition after 15-20 minutes, third one after 1 day, fourth after 2 to 3 weeks, fifth after 2 to 3 months. Then of course you can memorize something that you have learned for a long time. You can use Anki app. It is free and open source flashcard program for spaced repetition. So you can use this app to practice spaced repetition digitally. I would like to give a very important point about your brain. It's very important that you should know that human brain can remember unfinished tasks better than the completed tasks. Don't be in a finished mode. Keep always unfinished mode in your mind. That will help you to remember many things that you have learned. Remember, learning is a lifelong art in your life and a passionate path for excellence. Hi, today I would like to take you to the positive side of learning. Learning is a lifelong process of transforming information and experience into knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Finally, the behavior of ours. Let's look at why we learn and the positive side of learning. We basically learn to understand the universe for the purpose of exploring it. We learn to inspire ourselves and to teach others of what we have learned. We learn to add value to ourselves. As you know, learners are earners. We learn to increase our life expectancy level. It was found that learners are healthier. We learn to earn a living, which is a common thinking of all of us. We learn to make ourselves happy because learning reduces depression. We learn to reduce cost and to improve our productivity levels. We learn to build up confidence for trying new things and to stretching ourselves to the next level of our achievement. We learn to solve common problems in the society to have a better life for people. If we are to gain positive experience of learning, we should know the science of learning. Learning science is a combination of many subjects. It is drawn from discipline including teaching practices, linguistics, neuroscience, psychology, computer science, data science, design studies, and so on and so forth. So learning scientists are multi-skill professionals. Why learning science is important? Learning science helps us to develop the ability to ask questions, collect information, organize and test our ideas, solve problems and apply what we learn in real life situations. It is actually about creating opportunities for people to see science in application instead of just reading about it in a textbook. Young learners can't grasp information quickly, and educators are not effectively teaching the content, then it limits the students' chance for success. So learning science is very important for all of us to grow faster and better. Let's focus 3 main areas in the field of learning science: Pigment Effect, learning curve and forgetting curve. Zeigarnik effect is about people tend to remember unfinished or incomplete tasks better than completed tasks. Keeping your mind in unfinished mode will help you to grow faster and achieve your life goals productively because you keep on working on your uncompleted tasks. This was first observed by Russian psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik. And knowledge of the Zeigarnik effect can help overcome procrastination, improve study habits, and promote mental health. You have seen this concept being used by many industries. Terminate the event prematurely to create cognitive tension. You have seen in teledramas and TV series that they create the real interest at the end of the series. Create attention grabbing trailers in the movie industry is one example. Keeping interest things in halfway, so people are looking for the next event. So this is how the Zeigarnik effect will help you to learn scientifically. Learning curve is another scientific thinking on learning science. Learning curve measures how long you will take to learn a new skill with the experience. As you know, higher the experience, lower the time taken to complete a task. So learning curve is a correlation between a learner's performance and the number of attempts you make to complete a task perfectly. It can be shown in a graphical representation. If the time taken is lower, it is better as it improves productivity. So learning curve principles are being used in industries as well. Lower the learning curve, higher the output of a given process. Some tasks are complicated, so learning rate is lower. And some tasks are simple, so learning rate is higher. If the process is fully automated, learning curve effect is 0. But manual processes takes time to learn. For example, 80% learning curve means is that every time you double the output, 20% of the time reduces and so on. Say for example again, the first product take 100 minutes to produce. Second product will take only 80% if the learning curve is 80%. And to double it, it means 4 products will take only 64 minutes. And 8 products will take nearly 52 minutes. Time reduces exponentially with the experience. That is why we say the practice makes you perfect with a higher speed. We talked about the learning curve. The next is the forgetting curve. The Ebbinghaus forgetting curve is the name of the forgetting curve. Simply, the forgetting curve shows how information is lost over time when you don't try to retain it in your mind. Ebbinghaus actually discovered the nature of memory loss over time. The graph of forgetting curve illustrates that when you first learn something, the information disappears at an exponential rate again. You lose most of it in the first couple of days, after which the rate of loss tapers off. In a training context, the forgetting curve shows that learners will forget an average of 90% of what they have learned within the first month. And you are wondering why your training program was not having the impact you would hope it would. Spaced repetition is the solution, as forgetting curve is also occurs exponentially. Keep on recalling or reminding with the right space. Will remember things faster and better. How to become a learning scientist to achieve your life goals. Learn to investigate across many perspectives and dimensions. Learn to learn things smartly and scientifically, but not hardly. Reduce the gap between theories and the practice, and help people to understand things easily. Unlearn things to change your mindset to accept new knowledge in the world. Unlearn things regularly and keep a room in your mind to great ideas being produced by game changers in the world. Let's see what is the meaning of design thinking. Design thinking is a human-centered approach to innovation that draws from the designer's toolkit to integrate the needs of people, the possibilities of technology, and the requirements of business success. This was given by Tim Brown, CEO of IDEO. So it's very clear that design thinking is basically meant for innovation. There are three challenges when you go for design thinking. The number one is the most important thing, that is empathy. So how you are going to understand your customers or users in real situations so that you can give a better solution for them. So that is we call the desirability. So you need to talk to your customers, get to know their informations, what are the difficulties that they are having, and then of course you would be able to give a very nice solution for them to have a better life. Next one is of course the feasibility, whether it is technically possible or not. So if it is technically possible, then of course you would be able to materialize this properly. And finally, you need to see that that is we call the iterations. You need to keep on testing this and see whether we can make it happen or not in a real situations. Those are the major three design challenges when you think about the design thinking. Design thinking is a state of mind. It is your attitude, the way you looked at things. So it's a human-centric approach to solve your problems, and it is a business thinking that employs empathy, ideations, prototyping, and experimentations to solve real-world issues. Let's look at the design thinking process. The first one, you need to look at the empathy. If you don't empathize very clearly about your users and your customers, then of course we won't be able to get to know their real issues. So you need to work with your customers and understand their problems so that you will get to know what is the real problem that is faced by your users. Second step is, having got to know about the problem, you need to define it very clearly. So defining is of course, you need to break down the problem into pieces and see what are the major components of your problem. So that is we call decomposing the problem. So once you define very clearly, now you know where the problem is, what are the ingredients of it, what are the key solutions to be given. So then you move on to the next step we call is a ideate. So that is where you do lots of brainstorming with your team members to find out solutions for the well-defined problems. So you get a lot of solutions, then you can fit into the problem and see whether you are giving the right level of solution or not. And once the solution is defined, next is that you need to go for real situations where you need to develop the solution. That is we call prototyping, which is very important. That is, we need to have lots of tools to develop your solutions and see and whether your solution is working in a real situation or not. Once the prototyping is done, the last thing is testing. You need to test it with your customers, you need to test it with your others, you need to test it with your different situations and see whether we have done the right solutions or not. If it is real, if it is sensational, if it is moving, then of course you have to find out the real solution for your problem. So that is how the design thinking process goes on, and finally it will solve your problems day by day. I would like to add the one final thing which is given by David Kelly, the compound of idea. At the beginning, of course, we moved from the thinking of ourselves as designers. Today, we are thinking of ourselves as design thinkers. Thinkers produce great ideas and they bring those ideas into life, and finally those ideas and solutions will be with the good quality. So thinkers, doers and finishers are the creators of design thinking process. So if you want to practice this in your real situations, maybe your home, maybe your classroom, maybe your lifestyle, so you can design yourself in such a way that will give a better solutions for yourself and for the customers that you are working with. Hi, I would like to have a few words about unlearning. Do you know that unlearning is the super skill of the future? When unlearning, a space is created in your mind to learn new things. Unlearning is not about forgetting things, but it is ability to choose an alternative mental model or paradigm. If organization and people start sticking to patterns and to the current body of knowledge, it is difficult for us to unlearn things. Finally, no unlearning will take place. When you unlearn, we step outside the mental model or go out of the box in order to choose a different one. If you want to change yourself, unlearning is the best. It intends to learn things automatically, hence unlearning is a necessary condition for learning new things. So I would like to give a simple formula for you to understand the process of unlearning. Just looked at no unlearning means what? No learning. And finally no change. So unlearning is the art of discarding something that we have learned earlier. To know what to unlearn, you need to be self-aware about your thoughts, beliefs, your habits. Today, our workforce needs to embrace continuous unlearning in order to move forward and do something different in your company. Employees must continue to unlearn, learn and relearn to stay relevant in today's modern digital workforce. Change is continual, and in order to stay current and to dive into the world of obsolete, unlearning is a vital component of 21st century employees. So the next question is, how you are going to unlearn yourself? So you need to seek added new knowledge. So go for new knowledge, think differently, find different sources of information that are available in the industry. So you can travel a lot and discover the world and what's happening in the world so that you will learn something different. Exploring and experiments in your life, in day-to-day operations, you need to learn new things. So that is one thing that you need to look at. So finally, what is the takeaway? Today, we don't want knowledge experts. Knowledge experts are with lot of information, they know things, but of course we need a set of people who are having knowledge, entrepreneurial knowledge. We call knowledge entrepreneurs, who is capable enough to create new value chains for the business. So knowledge entrepreneurs can break the knowledge into pieces and see how things are made up. If you looked at the universe, it is with lot of value chains. So these knowledge entrepreneurs, what will do is they identify what the best value chain for their own industry. So just go for unlearning. Learning is important, Go for unlearning, develop yourself, and make a change in your life. Hi, I would like to talk about the future of education. I think it would help you to understand what is the future of education, how it affects to your professional life. This is about the new breed of generations. So let's talk about how to grab a demanding position in the industry in the years to come. Things are changing and skill set is changing. So it's high time for you to think about how to grab a better position in the industry. First, you need to know about your subjects. And if you follow a degree or any relevant course, what would happen is naturally you have a certain amount of degree of knowledge. That will support you to build up the balance. So maybe it's a 3-year course, maybe it's a 4-year course. You need to go through this process and get the basic information and the conceptual know-how about your subject and you are interested in. Then of course you need to naturally join the industry. So you need to get some experience, without which I don't think that you will be able to work better. So understand the subject also. So whatever things that you have learned in the classroom will never be able to practice the same thing in the industry. But when you get the experience, what will happen is naturally you will start applying whatever things that you have learned in the classroom in a different settings. So when you have 3-4 years of experience, then that is not enough. Things are getting changed and you need to learn something more. So that's the reason as why most of the world bodies, accreditation bodies and certification bodies, they have developed some professional certification courses. So you need to follow them and get yourself updated and get to know about what is really happening now in relation to your subject. So you need to go through this process. So if you want to get something in, it's very important that you need to unlearn yourself and go for the best practices that are taking place in the industry. Now you know a little bit about this. You have 4 to 5 years of experience. It's high time for you to network yourself with the industry. So there are a large number of professional bodies available in your country so that you can join them and see who are the other players in the industry. So you can work with them, get some experience. If you are having specific problems, they will show you, and that will help you to build up your knowledge base plus the skills. After 5 to 6 years of your experience in the industry, now it's high time to share your thoughts, and you need to go for public appearance and you can share your knowledge, and then of course people will get to know about what's really you are doing and what is your contribution. So then you need to start writing. Professional writing is a must. So having knowledge is not enough. You should be able to inculcate or pass that knowledge into next levels. When you start writing, what happens is, to make a write-up, you need to read more. You will gather more and more information about your area of operations. So you will become an expert in your area of operations when you start writing. So now is high time for you to go for a postgraduate qualifications, which will definitely help you to build up your conceptual know-how. So if you want to create something different, you need to make a change. So if you want to make a change in a given setting, so you need to develop your conceptual know-how so that you can develop a model for a change. So that can be taken from a master or a PhD from your own area of operations. So you can engage in research, you can publish some articles on your area of operations so that people will get to know, and you will become a source of information for others to read and to get to know about you. So you need to network yourself. Networking is very important. So you can go for social media. Probably maybe you have your own personal blogger or your own YouTube channel so that you can share your information, and finally you will become a great person in the field of your subject area.
Let's see meaning of Pygmalion effect. Pygmalion effect is a psychological concept. The Pygmalion effect is where an individual's performance is influenced by others' expectations. In other words, higher expectations lead to higher performance. This applies to children, students, managers, or anyone else. The key word is the influence. Our expectations can influence how we treat people, which can influence their own expectations of themselves. Sometimes you being a team leader influence your team members a lot. If you release high level of positive signals, it will have an impact on your team members positively. The trigger point of the total chain of Pygmalion effect is yourself and your belief. Your belief about yourself lead to your actions, and your actions will help others to have positive feeling on you. As a result, others will take actions towards you, and finally, it will have a positive impact yet again on you. The signals you emit from your mind will bounce back on you from others' action according to the phenomenon of Pygmalion effect. So it is important to release positive high-level signals from you at all times. Let's see a few examples. Assume a young boy believes he can win the hearts of a girl and offer flowers. It creates a positive feeling in the minds of a girl, and she reflects positively on her beauty and personality. This will cause her to accept or reject next offers on her way, and it will support on her future actions as well. See the next example. The coach believes about their students, and coach takes action towards the students accordingly. The students believe in their capabilities and take actions and ended up with positive outcomes at the end. The same is true for teaching as well. Students will end up with good grades due to the simple fact that when teachers believe that their students are really capable. Positive rays that you emit from your mind as a teacher will make great things in the life of his students. Let's see how it affects managers. Managers with higher expectations on work performance will receive positive signals from employees by putting more time and energy. Finally, it will end up with higher job performance in organization. The same is true for your personal image as well. When people have higher perception about you, you tend to improve yourself naturally. It will change the people perception positively again on you and helps you to improve your personal image to the next level. So it is vital that you need to emit positive rays from your mind to make yourself and others happy in order to improve total performance of your life.
Hi, I would like to have a few words about Lean Six Sigma topic today, which is very important in terms of business and the modern way of doing business. And we have been talking about this subject for a long time, but the interest on this has become very, very important after COVID-19. So that's the reason as to why I thought of having this topic and to have a few words on this, which will definitely help you to improve your business. Lean is a subject and the concept that was born in Japan, and later on it was practiced by many industries and in many countries. And Jack Womack is the person who coined the term the Lean, which is in fact related to Toyota production system. The Lean thinking will help you to reduce the cost by reducing waste. So that's a very important subject these days, basically because of the current situation. Lean means doing more with less resources. To do that, you need to eliminate waste. Waste is anything that does not add value to your business. If you want to add or understand what is the meaning of waste in a simple terms, and you just imagine that you are doing an operations and your customers are not willing to pay for that, it means your effort is waste. In a typical organization, there are 8 types of waste that you can identify, and I would like to touch upon these 8 types of waste in latter part of this program. The meaning of Six Sigma, which is also a very important topic, and we have been talking about it for a long time about Six Sigma methodology, which has been practiced by many industries in Sri Lanka as well as other part of the world. Six Sigma measures the amount of variations from the expected level of anything that you do. This applies everywhere in everything you do. For example, and you have expected certain quality, and if there is a variations, so that is a issue of quality. So you have promised certain things to your customers and you have not delivered as expected by the customers, and it's a variations, and we can measure in terms of standard deviation. Finally, we can calculate the Six Sigma value. So that is how we address the issue of quality. In other words, we are trying to reduce the defect. Defect is anything that deviated from the expected level. We are trying to reduce these defects. As a result, you can improve the capability of your process, and finally, you can improve the quality. So now we can combine these two words. That's the relationship with the Lean and Six Sigma. In a simple way, you have made an appointment and you are not trying to meet on that particular appointment on time. It means there is a variation. It's not your quality. So you have promised certain things to your customers and you have not delivered as expected by the customers, and it's a variations, and we can measure in terms of standard deviation. Finally, we can calculate the Six Sigma value. So that is how we address the issue of quality. In other words, we are trying to reduce the defect. Defect is anything that deviated from the expected level. We are trying to reduce these defects. As a result, you can improve the capability of your process, and finally, you can improve the quality. So now we can combine these two words. That's the relationship with the Lean and Six Sigma. So that's why we call is Lean Six Sigma methodology. Imagine you are a manager of a restaurant. If you want to manage your restaurant efficiently and effectively, you need to make use of resources with no waste and see that your customers are really happy with your products. This situation can be well managed by combining the thinking of Lean as well as the Six Sigma methodology. Lean will help you to reduce the cost by reducing waste. As a result, you can give a better price for your customers. And Six Sigma will help you to reduce the defects or deviation from the expected values of or quality of your customers. As a result, you can give a better product for your customers. Customers are happy basically because your product is superb and it is up to the standard expected by the customers. And second thing is, you can give a better value basically because you have reduced the cost. So that's the reason as why these two words, Lean, Six Sigma, works together in a business. So therefore, it's high time for us to implement these two concepts in our industries and make sure that you are producing cheaper, faster, and better products.
Kanneli is a rainforest located in southern Sri Lanka. This forest designated as a bioreserve in 2004 by UNESCO. So that's the reason Kanneli rainforest is very important for all of us. This is the largest remaining rainforest in Sri Lanka other than Sinharaja. This forest area has been identified as one of the floristically richest areas in South Asia. The forest is situated 35 kilometers northwest of city of Galle, where ancient Galle Dutch fort is located. The Ginganga River complex nourishes Kanneliya, while the forest is dotted with number of small waterfalls and natural pools. This biosphere reserve harbors many plants and animal species endemic to Sri Lanka. If you looked at the diversity of flora or plants in this rainforest, you will find that there is a floral endemicity. The rainforest is a major catchment area for two of the most important rivers in southern Sri Lanka, the Ginganga and Nilwala rivers. as 70% of lowland endemic floral species are confined to this forest area. Out of the 319 woody plants found in this area, you will find nearly 55% of them is endemic. If you looked at the diversity of fauna or animals, some 220 faunal species recorded from this forest, and forests around Kanneliya, you will find 41 of them are endemic species. Kanneliya is only second to Singaraja, as I said, in terms of species and richness. It is perfectly gateway for hikers and bird watchers, as the wonders to explore are endless. If you visit Sri Lanka, you should not forget to visit Kanneliya to explore the beauty of flora and fauna. It is the place where you can experience the cool climes and traditional foods in a calm and a peaceful natural environment. Visit Kanneliya, explore yourself with the natural beauty.